Hello everyone, welcome back to Jake's Scary Unusual. In today's story, we're going to be going over a paranormal story in the old house we lived in. Yes, this was a long time ago, but wow, is it a good story. There's some really interesting stuff actually that happened in this house. Guys, if you enjoy the video, please leave a like and share on social media, and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps greatly. And again, enjoy the content, enjoy the show, and I'll see you at the end. Bye now. When I was a young kid, around 2 to 3 years old, we lived in a house on John Street. Yeah, it's actually an interesting name. You'll see why later in the video. And, we actually knew, and the neighbors knew, this house had paranormal activity in it. It was very eerie, and it was actually really reminiscent of some other stories I've told in actually our newer house we're now. And this house was actually very narrow, and there was a lot of other houses around it. I remember that very fondly, actually, how the house was built and the houses around it. It was a mining area, right? This whole valley that I'm actually in Pennsylvania is a whole mining valley. It actually makes a lot of sense that these houses are 2 stories. It was actually a common thing back then. And, the basement's really creepy. Some of the floors aren't finished, and it's just like there's a whole concrete or brick walls. It looked extra spooky with those old dim bulbs. Actually, some of them still haven't even been replaced when I was, remember, as a little kid. So, in the backyard, there was actually a house. It was actually connected to this one lady. We were actually renting this house. And, she let us live there for, X amount of dollars and stuff. She was a really great lady. We'd help her out and everything. She even give me and my sister cookies and snacks sometimes. She was a great lady, really. A great old loving lady. But, in our house, though, it was a completely opposite story when it came to paranormal things. Her house was fine, none of that. But ours, everyone knew. Like I said, everyone knew there was paranormal stuff going on here. And, you go in the house and you could just get this vibe, this sense of something's not right in this house. Something's really off-putting. When you go into the kitchen, you just have this vibe. It's like, ooh, what happened here? As far as we know, nothing did. Actually, the person that actually was there before just wanted to retire and get out of there. He just wanted to, kind of be like, you know what, I'm done. That's as much as I know about that place, and that's actually how we got a hold of that place. Someone moving out, and, we actually got into it at a good time. I wasn't even born yet, actually, though, when we moved in there. So it was actually a whole interesting time, and this whole dilemma, actually. Things actually fell into place. Not sure why, though, the whole paranormal thing happened, though. Maybe that guy actually just wanted to get out of there, and we actually got to rent that house. There's so many other reasons that it could have actually been that way. And you go in, you're in the house, and you start feeling these things, like I said. And when people would come in, they get that same feeling. I'm told these stories from this house that are actually crazy to me. So I'll start this. I remember when I was around 3 years old, I don't know how I remember this, but I felt this dark aura in this house. And I was playing with the basket, next to the vacuum cleaner, and I just had these senses of things around me, things that are very disturbing, like some ghosts or aspirations. It just, ooh, you just have these feelings. And you're like, oh, okay, what do we do about this? How can we actually fix this? We actually, from what I remember, we actually had a priest come and bless our house. Thankfully he did come and take care of that. But the paranormal stuff didn't stop. We needed an exorcism on this house. This house was truly haunted. It was an experience nonetheless. And, the priest came in and got all this stuff done. He blessed it with holy water, did his prayers and stuff like that. And, things did calm down for a little bit from what I remember. But I still remember as a kid, this paranormal activity still happened all the way up until I was 4 years old when we finally moved out. And then the worst part is it continued into our new house. And at that point, we actually owned. And if you go in the basement, there'd be a lot of eerie things happening. You'd hear clicking and banging in the back of the basement. And, even in the attic, we had some of these experiences too. You'd hear things, you'd see eyes in the corners of the rooms, in the attic and the basement. You'd have all these different things appearing in front of you, not really sure what it is. I remember fondly of that, actually, my mother seeing a ghostly figure come down the stairs going in front of us, just like it did in our house, but it was of a different lady. So it's like someone died in this house potentially, and even multiple people, because different parts of the house had different paranormal experiences. So you have to wonder to yourself, okay, was there some type of fighting going on in this house? Was there abuse? I'm not really sure, and I don't know if anyone else really is. I couldn't really get any information on that. So you gotta wonder, all these things that happened in this house, was there abuse or neglect? And just by the way these paranormal spirits and entities acted, it seems like that was actually the potential case. And I was younger, and I was playing with my toys, and every time, until we moved out of that place, there's that dark aura that I mentioned prior, and just going through everything, going through the motions of life and seeing all this. And I remember a couple other stories too from this house. My mom and dad, they actually saw some other things that I can't really explain. Otherworldly beings in this place. Different types of creatures, black entities, things like skinwalkers and stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. It was already an interesting neighborhood, and not to mention that the potential of crime or break-ins, but we had these entities inside of our place. We don't know if someone was breaking in, or if these were actually ghostly apparitions. We don't know. And all these times that they actually saw these things, we would tell people about it, or people would tell us, hey, we saw something black, a black figure walking into your house during the daytime. It's like, can we get a break from this stuff? And, you just continue to go through the motions day to day, and there it is again. Oh, I saw something else. Oh, a cabinet slammed open or shut. Oh, the oven turned on by itself. It just kept happening over and over again. And, you're going through everything, and you're just like, geez. It's like, you'd have parties there, and, balloons would randomly pop, or, doors would open and shut. Even with all these people here, you'd still have this stuff happening in this house. We actually had a dog at the time, a golden retriever. It was a great dog, but, as it got older and I got older, it kind of got more aggressive towards me. We don't know if that was actually a factor into the ghosts and stuff like that. The types of entities that potentially could have been possessing that dog. It started getting more aggressive towards me, so I actually had to get rid of the dog, unfortunately. And, people would come over for more events and parties. Again, like I said, it just continually got worse. It ramped up. More of these things started appearing in this house that we had no control over at this point. These ghostly apparitions kept coming about more and more and more, and there was nothing we could do. We got the priests involved, we got other people's opinions, we tried different types of things like salt and stuff like that, and nothing seemed to actually work. We went through all the motions, we moved out and everything. Luckily, most of the stuff didn't come with us when we left. But it was still the fact that all this happened in the first place. Actually having to deal with this stuff. It's something I truly didn't want to deal with as a young kid like that, and having something like that follow us around, especially to the new house. It's just crazy, and I think back at it, and the different entities they saw, skinwalkers and stuff, things actually scratching at the windows, trying to open the windows, kind of like it did in this house. But as I seen, the more praying I did, the more praying everyone else did, the more these things started disappearing. The more ignoring the fact of those things too existing actually helped quite a bit in these situations. I will say, it seems the power of prayer does work in these situations. You really can't beat that. I've personally seen that, and everyone else has too. So, as I got older and we got closer to moving out, around 4 years old, these things did start to appear a lot worse. And that was the terrifying truth of it all, is that I actually had to deal with this stuff more, and everyone else did. Of all the stories and things I mentioned in this story, It's just mind-blowing to me, the different stuff that would happen at these events, or just at night. You think someone's breaking in, but it's actually some creature that spawned out of nowhere, maybe out of the walls or something. It's like something was buried in the walls potentially, or the amount of abuse actually causes things to manifest from the prior owners. We don't know, but it is actually crazy. It's just so wow, right? Because all these situations, different things you actually encounter. If you have some stories you'd like to recommend me, you can put them in the comments below or in Discord. And if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like and share. And definitely don't forget to subscribe. Guys, we have videos every Wednesday, Friday, and my own short series exclusive to YouTube on Saturdays and Sundays. Again, if you enjoyed, have a great night and a great day. And stay tuned for next week. And don't forget, Halloween, I have some big stuff coming that week. Don't forget to check that out. Bye now.